Welcome to Lightquest, where you can bring forth the light shining from within you. This is an innovative program that presents new concepts as well as established methods in being happy, healthy, and whole in body, mind, and soul. Today, our topic is Alphabiotics, brain stabilizer, and my special guest is Amy Tedford. Amy is an alphabioticist, and she has been aligning her clients in this relatively new healing modality for over 4 years. She helps to stabilize and to balance people's brains, as well as to unblock deep emotional issues from past traumas. As well, I'd like to welcome her associate, Mr. Steve Rainbolt. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you, Lynn.
I wanted to ask you, what exactly is Alphabiotics? I know it's a relatively new field, and I'm sure that many of us have not heard of it before.
Yeah, that's right. Usually the first thing people say is alpha what? Alphabiotics basically deals with unifying the brain hemispheres. When we have stress states, the brain will lateralize or lock into a dominant brain hemisphere.
Okay, as opposed to either the right brain or the left brain?
Correct.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
And what it deals with is the goal is to come into whole brain balance. So we function better on all levels.
That makes sense. Okay, instead of using one side of the brain or the other, it's the goal then to use the entire brain.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Well, how did you become interested in Alphabiotics, and how did you even hear about it?
Well, Lyd, I was in chiropractic school, and my whole life I was searching for a way to bring the spirit into the physical and the mental. I was in school, and I found school very stressful. We were having boards and finals all at the same time. And I had a roommate that was dyslexic, and all of a sudden she was making B's and A's, mostly A's instead of D's.
Oh.
And I thought, now,
you know,
this is very interesting. She's doing very well in school, and I usually did really well, but it was always, I always studied very hard, and it didn't come easily. Made good grades, but it wasn't easy. So it was basically like I wasn't accessing the side of the brain that I needed to use.
I see.
So she told me one of the instructors had quit teaching at school and was going into Alphabiotics. I had no idea what this was, and I was interested because I like new ideas and new things. So we went up. We always hike in the mountains, so we went up to his home, and he aligned me, and it just changed my life. And I then started, everything just started to fall into place.
Excellent. Oh, very good, very good. Now, can you tell exactly what is the difference between right and left brain?
Sure. The difference between right brain and left brain, these are two distinct entities. They each have their own personalities. The left brain deals with the rational, the judgmental side of the brain. It's analytical, very linear. It deals with your mathematical side, writing, language.
Oh, okay.
So if you see a picture of a forest, it is very distinct in specific details. It's very detail-oriented. It sees the tree, not the forest.
Okay, okay. And so in school, when children are learning, then what's really being developed in our school system is the left brain.
Exactly.
I see. Okay.
So you have children that are right brain dominant. They're having difficulty in school because they are not able to access the left side of the brain because it's shut off.
All right.
Shut off from the energy source.
Okay, well that's good to know, and good for parents to know also, so that they can maybe help that child to integrate.
That's right.
Integrate both.
Right.
Okay, and so the right side of the brain.
The right side of the brain deals with your emotional side. It's the artistic, creative side. It deals more with the feminine side. It's the heart side. So it's basically, in primitive times, the men were the providers. They were dealing with survival and how to feed the tribe. The women were the nurturers. So they were all heart-centered. This is the right brain.
Okay.
It's where your intuition comes from.
Oh.
And now we went from the primitive times where they were right brain dominant now to the technology era of our times where we're left brain dominant. And now the consciousness is coming to whole brain.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to be using both sides of our
Brain much more easily.
Exactly.
So right brain also, would that dictate someone who's very creative?
Absolutely.
Singing, dancing, artists,
Yes.
that kind of thing?
Yes, they're
okay.
right brain dominant.
Okay.
Yeah, the healers, most healers are coming from the right brain.
Oh, very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very interesting. So then, can you tell me what happens when a person is under stress? What happens to the brain exactly?
Well, there's over 100 physiological changes that happen in the body. There are hormone changes, there's physiological changes. We shift biomechanically out of balance with gravity. The brain...
So, I'm sorry, excuse me, what does that mean when you say we shift biomechanically out of gravity?
Okay, what happens is we're dealing with gravity at all times, all this weight coming down on us. And when we shift out of balance, our brain shifts also. This is what controls the body, the brain. You'll see a lot of things, a lot of modalities that you'll go to, and what happens is that you have to keep coming back because what is governing the body is the brain. If you think a thought, it affects the body. So if you want to become sick, then you think it. You think the thought, it affects the body directly, and you become sick. So basically what happens is the brain goes out of balance, locks into its dominant brain hemisphere because we're in a fight or flight mode.
Okay, so it'll either lock into the right or the left brain,
correct.
whichever one the person's dominant
That's right.
in.
It's emergency standby. We lock into this, and then it affects our body. So the left side of the brain, if we're dominant, which 85% of us are dominant on that side, will affect the right side of the body. Which means we biomechanically we shorten, we tense, we tighten on that side.
Oh, I see.
It's like having a light switch with the body. We supercharge one side of the body. It's like dimming the light switch on the other side. That's the passive side. So what happens is one side becomes excessively tense and tight, the other side becomes very selectively weak and passive. So it's like having a mini stroke on one side of the body.
Oh, interesting.
And we stay this way pretty much throughout our lives because of the stress of our times. It's low level, chronic, and ongoing. Some people may not feel like they have it, but we do. We've done tests on yogis, and I haven't seen one person in the time I've been doing this that hasn't been out of balance.
Wow. Wow,
so
that's
it's
incredible.
Very chronic and ongoing.
Okay, and I would think then that children, although we think that they often don't deal with so many stresses, but they do have their own set of stresses with school, social adjustments, and things of that, of that sort. And so you'll find that as well, I take it, with children. And then, so when a child has that imbalance, and they grow up, obviously become adults, you're saying that they will carry that with them then throughout their entire childhood, if they start as a young child, up into their adulthood.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
It will affect them with their learning abilities. You'll see a lot of, especially teachers will notice this, ADHD, dyslexic, ADD, autistic. Children, because of our stress levels, the stress of our times right now, the mothers carry the stress inside their bodies, the children directly feel it. The birthing process alone is a stress to the body, so their children are going out of balance already just by the birthing process and in the womb. And we have more stress than our parents did in 10 years and our grandparents did in a lifetime. So it's ongoing, and it's just it keeps getting more intense as the years go by.
Wow. Well, can you explain a little bit about the brain frequencies? I've heard of you know, the alpha state and the delta state and so forth. And what is all of that, and what does it mean?
Sure. The alpha state is the state that we want to be in. Specifically, there are 4 brain frequencies that the brain has. The first one is beta. This is a very high, if you look at brainwave frequencies, it's very spiky, and there's a lot of activity going on. And we really don't want to go into this state unless there's some sort of high emotional content or pain.
Okay.
This is something